going on, guys? Long D out here with Tactiholics. Having a beautiful range day, shooting Criterion Barrels all day at Highlands Sportsman's Club. Stay tuned for some great knowledge from some of the best in the industry. We're here with Josh from Criterion Barrels. Just spent about, what, 3-4 hours shooting 6.5 Creedmoor, 223 Wild. All the way out to
steel, huh?
Yeah, all the way out to 1,000 yards. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your barrels? What makes them so accurate, and why are we hitting 1,000-yard shots on first round hits?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. We could be chatting here for a half hour about it, but more or less every barrel that we produce, it's a hand lap match grade barrel. We make them for a variety of different platforms. So we've got the gas guns, the ARs, we got bolt guns, Savage, Remage prefits, Kika prefits, a whole bunch of different options, as well as a lot of the classic vintage military platforms too.
So tell me a little bit about your process, because it's different from other barrel manufacturers, like you mentioned Krieger.
Oh, sure.
So what's the difference between you and other barrel manufacturers in how you process barrels or how you manufacture?
Well, we incorporate steps in the production process that most manufacturers don't cover, one of those being the hand lapping process. So it gives the bore a real nice uniform finish, maintains solid bore uniformity. We utilize a button rifling technique, which is a little bit different than the Krieger and Bartlein kind of companies out there. So it allows us to make barrels held to very stringent tolerances, but in larger batch quantities. So a big part of what we do is as an OEM supplier for a number of premium rifle manufacturers.
So what goes into the process? Where does it start? You know, obviously you get the metal. What do you do to that metal, and how does it become a barrel put on one of these rifles?
Sure. Well, that step can kind of be broken down into two different subcomponents. You've got your barrel blanks that you're fabricating. That's the first half of the production process. And it's essentially that's drilling and basically machining the inside of the rifling, getting everything prepped for rifling. And we run that through, stress relieve it to remove any inconsistencies in the material after the button rifling process. Then we do the turning operations. We hand lap each of the barrels as they go through production. And then there's some other steps like milling and finishing operations that we do as well.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about those finishing operations. Like, what's the difference between nitride and chrome finish? Like,
sure.
A little bit about that.
Yeah, salt bath nitriding, essentially what you're doing is you're changing the material properties. So you're actually making the steel itself harder and more durable, corrosion resistant. With chrome lining, what you're doing is you're applying a finish to the barrel that increases the life somewhat. So both of them do increase the longevity of the barrel. Traditionally, chrome lining has had a reputation for inferior accuracy. We utilize a different step than what you traditionally see. With the traditional chrome lining method, you're chemically removing material from the bore, and that causes uniformity issues. So we kind of have a proprietary setup where we don't chemically remove the material and have that issue. And it allows us to set record-setting tolerances. We've had probably, I'd say, 3 or 4 records set with our chrome line barrels.
Awesome. Have you guys done any testing on barrel length versus twist rate? Anything in that regard?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's really dependent on what load you're running. So with our 308 ARs, for example, our shorter barrels will run a 1 in 10 twist because you're having a limited velocity. But when you bump it out to the 20 and 22 inch, we can change it to a 1 in 11 to accommodate those 168s and 175s a little bit better for that velocity.
Sure.
So it's all about stabilizing that bullet.
Right. Have you started making anything shorter for, say 308, trying to bring it down to 16, 14 inch?
Sure. Yeah, we actually ran some pistol barrels for Midwest Industries and American Defense Manufacturing.
Interesting.
I think the Midwest barrels, they were like under 14.5, I think it was like 13 and a half or something like that. So they're really short. But, for a nice mid-range platform where you're trying to run that 308, it's the way to go.
What's next? What do you guys, is there anything that you can tell me about that's
Sure.
coming down the pipe?
Well, we've got a number of projects down the pipeline, and I'm always working on something.
Yeah.
So prefits right now are really hot with the PRS market taking off. So we added the Tika prefits very recently with a company called Solid Accuracy distributing those. Okay. We're working on Howa prefits that we'll probably be announcing officially at SHOT Show, but a number of major distributors are looking at those. Always looking at new gas gun options. 6.5 Grendel's in the works, so we'll probably have those around SHOT Show as well.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all I got for you, Josh.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for coming out today. We had a blast.
Appreciate it. That's all we got here for Tactiholics. Thanks to Criterion for having us out here for a range day. Never quit.